Are you ready for winter? Worries you might need a new furnace? Don't know where to begin? Rock's Heating and Air makes it incredibly easy with their new, free, no obligation online heating and cooling quote. It takes less than 5 minutes and gives you options instantly. No calls, no waiting, and transparent pricing. Only at ROX, Rock's Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX, Rocks, Heating and Air.
This is Jeff for Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Greg.
Hi, my name is Greg. I've been a patient of Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic for over 10 years. I noticed that I was really tired. I was lethargic. I didn't sleep really well, and I was overweight. My waist was 4 inches over what it should have been. It was really difficult for me to lose the body shape I didn't like. And of course, my marriage, yes. No man in their 40s wants to have low libido in their marriage. I'm really thankful for this therapy because it just makes me feel the man I want to be. Active, at home, everywhere. If you're feeling like I was, call the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today and get checked. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Thanks, Greg. It's true. Low T therapy will likely change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th. New Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Payton Manning here. Throughout my football career, staying healthy was a big priority, but bumps, bruises, and injuries were part of the game. And for me, it's not just the clinical excellence and expertise that sets a medical team apart. It's also the compassion, kindness, and empathy they show. At Common Spirit Health, healing is quality care and human kindness. And my friends at Common Spirit are teaming up with their partners to spread human kindness and create healthy communities. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
I'm Katie LaSalle, 9 News Weather Impact Team forecaster and outdoor enthusiast who loves to hike in Boulder County. I love preparing you for your day ahead. Whether it's tracking the frigid storm coming in or giving you the latest snow totals for your favorite mountain, we've got you covered. Your weather impact forecast should move as fast as you do, because weather never stops, and neither do we. Make the move to 9 News Mornings. Weekday mornings, live starting at 4:30, anywhere you watch.
A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Rolling into the weekend. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez on a Friday edition, a Bud Light Football Friday edition of Denver Sports Tonight. Glad you are with us. Dante and I will be hanging with you until 7 o'clock. Dante, man, I was going to ask you how the week was, but, you know, my brain is going so fast because there's so much going on, so I just need to exhale for a second. Nice. How was the week?
Oh, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Little, I don't know. Something was a little off for me.
Yeah, you were saying that. Maybe not quite like locked in.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's just all the sports.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I'm going to blame the 18-inning World Series game on, was that Monday night?
You didn't. Did you stay up for the whole thing?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, my goodness.
Was that Monday or Tuesday night? One of the two. I think that just set me up for failure the rest of the week.
Yeah. I think it was Tuesday night because then Wednesday was the travel day. Last night was game 6, right? I think so.
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah.
It was Monday night.
Okay, Monday night.
Yep. So I'm definitely gonna blame that as just kind of threw me off the rest of the week.
Maybe I should too. I didn't stay up for the whole thing, but maybe I should too because I have no idea what day it is other than Friday, and we're here together with all of you guys. RamosLaw.com text line is there for you, 303-713-1043. We are 1043. See, I told you, my brain is going too fast. It is just going too fast. I've got to slow it down, got to pace it out for the hour. There is just so much going on. We'll talk Broncos. We'll touch on Nuggets and Avs. The Avs have already won today. That's weird. An afternoon game, as you said, on the West Coast, no less. And then we'll clean up some odds and ends heading into the weekend with some college football, with some World Series Game 7. Not exactly odds and ends, but kind of feels that way with all the football going on around here. But we start with Broncos. Broncos at the Texans. Denver looking for win number 6 in a row. It was interesting, Dante, that after the win against Dallas on post-game last night, I'm like, yeah, they've won 4. I had to count that they had stretched the winning streak to 5. I mean, it is not easy to have a 5-game winning streak in the NFL, and yet here the Broncos are. You think all the way back to the back-to-back heartbreaking losses on last-play field goals, last-second field goals at Indy and at the Chargers on September 21st in that game, and the win at home against Cincinnati on Monday night, at Philly, the comeback in the fourth quarter, in London to beat the Jets in a slugfest, 13-11, and then the Giants game, 3 quarters of horrendous football before exploding for the historic 33 in the fourth, and then a beatdown of Dallas last Sunday and at 44-24 in a game that really wasn't that close. 5 in a row. And if they get number 6, they go from a team that I think can be pretty darn good, Dante, to a definitive really good football team. That's what's at stake for me in this game.
That would do it for your win over the Texans?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I think I still need to see it against the Chiefs.
Ooh, well,
not specifically the Chiefs, but they're just, to me, the next good team. I think the Texans are okay. I think they're good-ish, but I think the Texans are not the Texans. I think the Chiefs are the next, Super Bowl contending team on the schedule. So that's why I said the Chiefs there. I need to see what they look like against them before I can, declare what you just did.
Wait, I've got to get to the RamosLaw.com text line. I told you my brain is moving fast. I said Game 7 of the World Series. It's Game 6. So thank you to the 77-22. It's not going anywhere, Mike. This is self-therapy right here. Just give me 10 seconds. No, here's the thing about Houston. I agree the Texans as a team are good-ish. I would agree with you. Defensively, I think they're really good right now. And that's why I say that if the Broncos can go down there and simply find a way to win, doesn't really matter how, then to me they go from a team that has played well at times, an inconsistently good team, if you want to put it that way, and to a team that this is a really good football team. Don't know if they're going to win the division. Really good football teams don't always win, especially when you're chasing, the gold standard the last few years in the NFL in KC. Hate to give them that props, but I have to. But if they go down there, and especially, Dante, if they look pretty darn good offensively, I'm talking about the Broncos now, of course, if they can look pretty good offensively and get a win down there, to me, they go into the really good football team. Then they will have won 6 in a row. I'm not sure what else I'd have to see to at least, in my mind, say, I've seen enough to know they're legit. You're still not convinced.
I'm not.
Man, you're hard to please.
I get it. A win against Texans would be great. They've had 6 in a row. They're already tied for the largest win streak in the NFL right now, them and the New England Patriots. But, we kind of saw this song and dance last year where they beat up on the bad teams, and that's kind of what we've seen. Philly, I think, is a good team, but that was a miraculous comeback. Other than that,
but no buts about it, though. They beat the Eagles out there.
They did.
Okay.
Philly was reeling a little bit at that point. They go on to
give
lose
you
to the
that.
Giants the following weekend. Philly's looking much better the last week or two.
Yeah.
Here, other than that, I mean, the Jets, the Giants, Dallas, Cincinnati, are any of those teams playoff teams? Probably not. And I mean, we've seen the Broncos beat bad teams. That doesn't impress me at this point. I need to see you beat a playoff team.
You would be talking about, and again, one of the asterisks I said is especially if the Broncos offense looked pretty good this weekend. The Texans defense is better than average. I mean, the Texans defense is elite right now, statistically elite in the NFL. Now, the offense has struggled a little bit. They still have won 3 of 4. Okay, take out the first of that stretch against the Titans, 26-0. They beat down a Lamar-less Ravens team 44-10. They lose at home to the Seahawks by 8, and then they beat the 49ers without Purdy 26-15. I still think this defense is pretty darn good. Is it an above 500 team? No, I grant you that. I'm just saying that it doesn't sound like what I'm hearing you say without saying it is you don't have a ton of respect for the Houston defense.
No, it's not that I don't have a ton of respect for them, but I think they're, again, good-ish as a team.
Okay.
I think the defense is good. I think their defense is good. I don't want to take that away from Houston here. And I think, a road game in the NFL is tough as it is, so you got to factor that in there as well. But I don't know. I want to see it against better competition. I think that's what it comes down to. And, if the Broncos go out and score 34 points, then, yeah, I guess that would impress me. I don't think either of us are projecting that, 34 points or anything like that for this Broncos offense this weekend. I just need to see it against better competition. And the Texans, it's one of those where their offense is so bad that it could put their defense in a bad place. And while their defense has great numbers statistically, I think that could lead to their defense not looking as good as they normally do as well.
So what I'm thinking that you're thinking is that you will not be convinced that the Broncos are a really good team until they beat Houston, they beat Vegas here, and then they beat the Chiefs, and the winning streak is at that point 8.
Yes. They don't even have to win both. I know this might be sound a little contradictory here. They don't even have to beat Houston for me to think that. I think beating Houston would be great, but I don't expect Houston to be in the playoffs this year. I think the Colts are going to run away with that division, and I think the AFC South is only going to get one team in the playoffs. I need to see it against Kansas City. I need to see it against Green Bay, and I need to see it against the Chargers when they come back, when they come to Denver at the end of the season.
So how do you view, and if you want to join in on the conversation, feel free, RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. No PS2, no Marvin Mims, most likely. I don't think that's official, but he's got to.
It was official. He was ruled out.
Okay, he was ruled out. I missed that earlier, the official ruling. So no Mims, no PS2. How big are those two losses for the Broncos this weekend?
I think they're pretty significant. I mean, PS2 is, the reigning defensive player of the year here. He one-sides the team as far as them trying to throw the ball around. He makes it really difficult. And, I mean, that's the whole thing on a defense is you want to try to protect every blade of grass on that field, and PS2 helps you with that a lot. I mean, he has taken away the other team's best receiver on most games, making them pretty much a non-factor. So I think PS2 is going to be a huge miss here for the Broncos. I think they can still win the game. I think their defense can still look pretty good without PS2. That's how talented and well-rounded of a defense they have in general with that pass rush. I think Riley Moss is better than a lot of people, give him credit for. And I think we're going to see Jahdae Barron step up. I think, this team knew all week that PS2 was not going to be available this weekend. So they at least got to be able to practice that way, and they got to get they were able to get their mentals right in terms of, I think it's a lot more difficult to just plug somebody in the second half of a game and be like, yep, you're our cornerback too. This week gave them the ability to really prep for that mentally and, on the practice field. So I think the defense will still look fine without him, but you're losing that Super Bowl difference defense without Pat Surtain out there. Marvin Mims, less so of a miss. I don't want to make it sound like it's not anything that he won't be able to play there. But I think Troy Franklin looked really good last week. I think he'll continue to look pretty good here as wide receiver too. He's so fast, and I think Houston has a pretty fast track out there in terms of their grass, and it's indoor and it's the turf, so I think that only help him even more. In terms of how quick he is. And then Evan Ingram looked good, and Pat Bryant finally had a touchdown catch there too. So I think Pat Bryant will be able to step up there, but more importantly, I think Troy Franklin will continue his success.
Right, and to stay on the Mims topic for a moment, Sean has said that he wants to get Pat Bryant more involved. He told that to CBS before the game last week against Dallas. He said, well, we've got to get him going, and we've got to give him more opportunities. And maybe it was his blocking on the edge, because I think there was a message sent after the Giants game. Look, if we're going to call wide receiver screens or bubble screens or whatever to the perimeter, especially if the running game's not working, then guys got to block. And I don't think guys are going to see the field in terms of the wide receiver position if they're not blocking. Huge step forward against the Cowboys in that regard. But I feel pretty good about Pat Bryant. I feel pretty good about Franklin, as you said. The place that gets me a little bit nervous when it comes to Mims is the return game. I mean, he's a dynamic punt returner. We know that. He's an all-pro return guy. He's solid. Not many miscues back there. Pretty secure with the ball. You don't have to worry about typically Marvin making a gaffe on the punt team. And I heard Phil talking about it earlier today. I mean, outside you can look real calm. On the inside, you're saying, man, I hope that's on the other side of the field and I don't have to take it. But that does concern me a little bit, because we know special teams can be such a difference in a football game. And I will be interested to see if the Broncos can muster a threat there in the punt game in particular.
Yeah, I think that's something that I overlooked when I was discussing Marvin Mims' absence here. I think that can be a big difference, because you kind of take Mims for granted at this point in terms, he's a Pro Bowler at that position in his career, in his young career here. So you kind of take for granted that pretty much if he has the ability to catch the ball and run a little bit, he's probably going to get you 10, 15 yards pretty consistently, with the ability to bust it out even bigger than that. So definitely something to look for. I don't know who's going to take over that role. That'll be kind of interesting to see. I think maybe Tyler Bidet could be at least kickoffs. Yep. I know they mixed him in on kickoffs with Mims as it is. Maybe Jaleel McLaughlin gets the call after we haven't really seen a lot of him this season. But definitely something you take for granted that could, play a huge role in a game on Sunday.
It's interesting with PS2. He's such a luxury for Vance Joseph, because Vance can say, all right, whatever I want to do with Surtain, we can just do that, and then I've got 10 other guys that I can shuffle pretty much anywhere I want, anytime I want, any way I want. And now with PS2 out, it's like, okay, Riley Moss becomes that number one corner, but how much help do we need to give Riley? And I know Nico Collins is expected to play, and he's been hurt, and so he's coming back, but that's an instant threat. I will say, though, to the Moss detractors, and I'm not N-O-T underline bold exclamation point, not saying Moss is PS2. I'm not saying it's an equal ability level there. What I am saying, though, is when PS2 left the game against Dallas, I get it. It was Dallas on the road. But all of a sudden, Dak Prescott was saying, where's KAD? Where's Chris Abrams-Drain? I'm going after the young guy, the year two guy. I'm not going to mess with Riley as much. And I think that's what Riley gets when Patrick Surtain is on the field. Of course, you're not going to test Surtain on a regular basis. You're just not. He's too good. And he can shut anybody down. So I do have confidence in Chris Abrams-Drain. I do have confidence in Moss to hang with the Texans receivers. I do think Vance is going to play it a little bit differently. I think he'll give some over-the-top help depending on the matchup, depending on the down and distance, etc. But I'm not like shaking in my boots about the Broncos secondary. Do I want PS2 to play? Do I wish he were going to play? Of course. Anybody would. But Dante, I have confidence in Riley. I have confidence in Abrams-Drain that they can at least hold down the fort. And maybe not to the degree that PS2 does. Texans are going to get some plays. But then again, It's complementary football within the defense. What does the pass rush do to help out those guys on the back end? I think that's as big of an element to the back end success this week as anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you maybe have to be a little more conservative with your defensive calls. Maybe you're not blitzing as much because you can't trust his secondary quite as much as you can when you have Surtain out there. But, no, I don't have too many questions about this secondary, particularly Riley Moss. I think Riley Moss is going to have a pretty good game here. Chris Abrams-Drain didn't look great last week when he had to come in and play, so that would concern me a little bit more. But I think this Broncos pass rush is talented enough to get home with 4 guys. I don't think you have to send the house on a lot of these calls to get pressure on C.J. Stroud. So hopefully that can help. I know Vance Joseph mentioned in his press conference that, sometimes it's not about blitzing these young guys. Sometimes it's about showing them some weird looks, making them hold on to the ball a little bit longer than you would think. And I think that lines up great for this pass rush, where if you can get Stroud to hold on to that ball just, a couple seconds longer than he probably should, I trust Nick Bonito and I trust Jonathan Cooper to get home in those situations.
RamosLaw.com text line from the 9161. The Broncos are a leverage call and a DPI away from being undefeated. They are as legit as any team out there. Dante, you have the floor.
I don't really think the Colts are that legit either. I made this comparison earlier in the week, but they kind of remind me of last year's Minnesota Vikings team, where it's like, yeah, you have all these regular season wins, but is anybody really scared of you in the playoffs? Even if you have to go to Indianapolis,
you wouldn't be scared of going on the road to play the Colts if the playoffs were to start this week?
Not particularly.
Really?
I would be more scared about going to, a Buffalo. I'd be more scared to go to New England than I would to go to Indianapolis at this point. I think what they do is great for the regular season, but I don't know if it's going to get it done in the playoffs. So I don't think the Colts are that great. And the Chargers game did impress me, but they weren't able to pull out a win. And I guess it was kind of, a good drive by Herbert there at the end of the game. But, the Chargers aren't the cream of the crop in the AFC either. So it's not that the Broncos aren't, to me, they are a top 3 team in the AFC, but I don't think there's a big gap between a lot of those top 5-6 teams in the AFC.
Here's why I need to see a little bit more from the Broncos. And if I see a win in Houston with the offense playing pretty well throughout the game, they don't have to score 34, 38 for me to say they played pretty well. 24, 27, I think would be a pretty good offensive output against that defense on the road. But there have been big chunks of games that they just have not looked good at all. They just haven't. They have more than just struggled offensively. They have looked dismal offensively for even against the Titans in the opener. Okay, it's the opener. You excuse that away a little bit. But, chunks of the Philadelphia game didn't look good. The entire Jets game, they didn't look good offensively. They moved the ball a little bit better in the first half for sure, and then couldn't do a thing in the second half. We know what happened against the Giants with the 3 quarters of futility. Finally, against Dallas, they got back on track. I give them credit, absolutely. I also just acknowledge that it was against the Dallas defense, and I want to see them do it against a better defense. Do I think the Broncos are a legit playoff team? To use the word of the texter, legit? Yes. Do I put them in a legit Super Bowl contender right now? That's a step too far for me. Is it possible? Yes, because I do think the upside is certainly there. I think the room for improvement, Dante, with Bo is absolutely something I expect, that Bo is going to continue to improve throughout the season.
You know what's funny, Mike? I already actually think they are a legit Super Bowl contender.
Do you
at this
really?
Point. I do. So that's why maybe I have a higher expectation for this team in terms of I already think you are a Super Bowl contender, but to really take it over the top, I need you to, do it against the Chiefs and against the Chargers and against the Packers. The Packers have a great defense this year, so maybe that's what the gap we're talking about is here with the importance of this Texans game.
All right. You're calling, yeah. I mean, you could make I think Super Bowl appearance is possible. So from that standpoint, do I put them in the contender category? Yeah, I guess I'd have to. But maybe the phrase I need then is realistic contender. I mean, even going to Buffalo, big challenge. I think going back to Indy would be a big challenge in the playoffs. Certainly a much more winnable game, if you wanted to put it that way, than Buffalo. Because you're right. When the playoffs come around, what do the Colts really have? They're playing a softer schedule because of where they finished that week. Or last year, rather. I'm just not – I want to see more consistent offensive production. And that's why I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bo can do, to see if they – even if you're not scoring 34, like I said, are you moving the football? Are you giving yourself a chance? Is the running game fairly consistent? The Texans' defense is not just going to roll over and give up a boatload of points. I just think they're too good. I have too much respect for them, even with the schedule they've played.
No, I respect the Texans' defense.
Mostly. Not quite all the way.
No, I do, but to me, that's not going to change. If I already think you're a top 4 team in the AFC, beating the Texans isn't going to make me think you're any bit higher than a top 4 team in the AFC. I think that's where I'm coming from on this conversation about the Texans. So
okay.
I already think of this Broncos team so highly that the Texans are kind of beneath them at this point, even defensively.
Okay. I will say that I would expect the Broncos pass rush to have a pretty good day. I do. Stroud takes some sacks. The Texans offensive line has been hit and miss at best. And I really believe that even without PS2, that this Broncos defense can get some things done against the Texans, and I am expecting that. We're going to switch gears, go inside, little Nuggets and Avs. What's the ceiling for these teams as they are off to red-hot starts? That's next on Denver Sports Tonight.
The Broncos are hitting the road for a showdown with Houston. Kick your football Sunday off in style with Denver Game Day. Powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting at 7 a.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity, and the other day I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch football, but his setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, switching between apps, trying to find a game. He claimed to be a big fan, but I feel like I was being fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way I watch, well, it's next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I've got all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K, so clear it feels like I'm in the stadium. Sometimes I've got 4 games going on at once. Why? Because why not? On top of that, I get real-time notifications, live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every single time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K cable TV box.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Whatever you're looking for when you head out into the wild, keep an open mind. Sometimes the real treasure is the journey itself. Sure enough, there's treasure out there. Sometimes it's something you didn't expect to find. And more often than not, it's as simple as the memories you make. Make some memories of your own with a new vehicle from Corwin Toyota. family driven for over 100 years.
A lot of personal injury lawyers make claims about how good they are. But how do you know who's the best? Who will fight to get you the money you deserve? At Berg Simpson, we don't rely on simple claims like other firms. We have 27 best lawyers in America, 17 super lawyers, and we're one of the National Trial Lawyers' top 25 most influential law firms. Compare us to other firms, then call Berg Simpson.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Hey, it's Mike Evans with Todd Whalen from Advanced Tax Solutions. Well, Todd, with the IRS away during this government shutdown, awesome opportunity for people to take care of their IRS problems.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit counterintuitive, but if you think about it, there's nobody trying to get a solution right now. So if you're thinking like an offer and compromise, now's the time to get it done. If you wait until the hordes show back up and the IRS is super aggressive, you've waited too long. If you owe the IRS money, this is the perfect time to submit an offer and compromise. It won't get better than this. It really does seem like, wow, hey, who cares? IRS isn't even sending notices. But if you don't want to be at the back of the line, because they are going to open again, and they're going to be aggressive. They need money. So now's the time. Get to the front of the line and get a solution while it's friendly. Don't wait for the fire. Do it now.
With more than 30 years of fighting and winning against the IRS, this is the guy you want in your corner. Todd Whalen, Advanced Tax Solutions. Give them a call today, 303-753-6040.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's powered by Hellsberg. Shop in store or at Hellsberg.com.
Friday, Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike Rice, Dante Gomez with you on a Bud Light Football Friday. We will pick the Broncos game among a couple of others later on in the show. RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. The Avs have already won today. They beat the Golden Knights in Vegas in a matinee. It is Nevada Day, so they celebrate Nevada becoming a state, and the Avs show that Colorado is still better than Nevada. Netchus, Nelson, Burns, and McCarr with the goals for the Avs, so 4 different goal scorers to support Scott Wedgwood in net. McCarr's an empty netter to seal it with 1:38 left. Marty Netchus celebrates the new contract with the first goal of the game, his 8th of the year. He's got, I think 8 assists as well. He assisted on McCarr's goal right at the end and then also assisted on Brent Burns' goal. Netchus gets the 8-year, $92 million deal, so $11.5 per, and Dante threw it all. The Avs have taken a little heat about the Nathan McKinnon self-imposed cap, but in terms of average salary, the Avs still are not above Nathan's $12.5 per year. I think the Netchus deal is a terrific deal for Colorado. They lock up a productive player who, he needs to step it up in the postseason. That'll be big for him. But they keep him involved. They keep him here. He wanted to stay here. He's off to a terrific start, seemingly settling in after the big Rantanen trade last spring. And now he's going to be paired with Val and Gabe for the next, 4 years or so, if not longer. I mean, longer for him, but Val and Gabe are not under contract for quite that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the contract on both sides. I think it was good for Netchus, and I think it was good for the Avalanche. You get some long-term security on Netchus's part on a team that's going to be competitive in during most likely the whole lifespan of that contract for him. With McKinnon going to be here, McCarr's probably going to get locked up next, off season here as well. He'll be here long term, or is expected to be here long term too. So I think it's a good deal for him, and then I think it's good for the Avalanche too. Didn't have to pay, quite the price that, oh my goodness, what is the
McKinnon?
Mikko Rantanen.
Oh,
sorry,
Rantanen.
sorry.
Yeah.
That Mikko Rantanen was looking for when he was here. Still got a very productive player. And it seems to be fitting in on the ice really well. And everything from their press conference between the Avalanche and Netjes sounded really good as well. It sounded like he was excited to be here. Obviously, he is excited to be here. He signed up for 8 more years of being here too. So I think it's just good all around for this team, and it really takes the headache away of, you got to make sure you sign Netjes. You got to make sure you sign Netjes. He was the key piece in that Rantanen trade. It would make that trade look not so good if they weren't able to keep Netjes here. So I think that's a big part of it too. So just now they get to focus on the ice. They get to focus on trying to go out and win a Stanley Cup here. No other distractions in that locker room.
Central Division is really shaping up in an interesting way. I know it's early. The Avs have 18 points after the win today, 7 wins, a loss, and 4 overtime losses. The Jets, 16 points. The Mammoth, 16 points. This could be an interesting race throughout the year. I would expect that it would be. The Avs and Penguins are tied with 18 points. Again, I realize it's very early, but I mention that, Dante, because if health is not a factor, if the Avs can stay relatively healthy this year, there is zero reason to me that this team won't be in contention for a cup, and I think they would be one of, in my mind, the odds-on favorites to win it. Normally, it's really hard for me to say that, especially in hockey, because there's so many variables, weird bounces of the pucks, hot goaltender, all kinds of different things that can happen, especially once the playoffs begin. But man, I'm telling you, the way this team has started is beyond impressive. They are absolutely playing like a team on a mission. And it's really good to see because they have all the pieces in place, seemingly.
Yeah, and I like how seriously they're taking the regular season.
Yeah.
Here. I think it would be easy for them to be a little lackadaisical and say, hey, it's about what happens in the playoffs. Because at this point, it really is what happens in the playoffs for this team. We're not going to judge them, better if they go out and win the President's Trophy, but then get bounced in the first round. It's going to be the same conversation that we've had the last couple of off seasons here. So it is about what happens in the playoffs, but I think what you can do in the regular season is set yourself up better in the playoffs than the way they've been set up the last couple of years here. I think playing a wild card team in the first round is huge in the NHL playoffs, the way the setup is currently. So I think that should be their goal at this point, is win the division and get that wild card matchup in the first round. And obviously, if you can set yourself up to get home ice in every round here, I think that's going to be huge too, to avoid the situation they saw last year in terms of Game 7 in Dallas. If you can get that at Ball Arena, maybe that goes a little bit differently. So I like that they're taking the regular season serious. I think that's important for a team like this. And if they're trying to go as far as they can in the playoffs, I think it's very important that they get a 1 or 2 seed here.
Right, and we mentioned the strength of the Central Division. Dallas is still lurking, again, very early, 14 points. But if the top teams in the Central continue to be grouped together, I think that lends itself that's good for the Avs, because then they're forced to continue to play down the stretch. Yeah, you'd like to give your guys some rest, but at the same time, you want to be sharp for the playoffs. And there's no way to be sharper than to be in a race, especially, as you said, to your point, Dante, if winning the division becomes that priority for the Avs, which you'd think they'd want to win it for the reasons you mentioned.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it'd be easy for a team like this to not take it seriously and to just kind of coast until you get to the playoffs, but it doesn't seem like that's their mentality at all. It feels like out of the gate, their mentality was like, hey, let's go out and prove that we're the best team in the NHL.
I really think that's a product of the experience on this team. I mean, there's no way Nate McKinnon's going to coast. Cale Makar's not going to coast. I mean,
But you see it in other sports. I mean,
yeah,
those
absolutely you do.
LeBron Cleveland Cavaliers teams, though, they coasted a lot in terms of, hey, let's just get into the playoffs, then we can figure it out. You see it in the MLB playoffs this year in terms or the regular season going into the playoffs. The Dodgers kind of coasted this year because it's like, hey, let's just get everybody healthy going into the playoffs, and we think we'll be good enough to get there. And it doesn't always work out for those teams doing that. So I think. Like I said, I think it'd be easy for them to coast, but they're not doing that. They're choosing the hard way of going about it, and I think that's what makes championship teams.
Sounds like Mackenzie Blackwood will be in net tomorrow night against the Sharks. We shall see on the back-to-back. He has not played yet this year because of the injury. Want to flip it to the Nuggets for a moment or two. Nuggets are 3-1. They're at Portland tonight. Portland, with all the things going on with Chauncey Billups, their head coach, and all the rest, still 3-2. Decent start for the Blazers. I'm not sure I would pick them to continue that, but I suppose you never know. Again, the same thing applies. My expectations for the Avs are Stanley Cup Finals, if not a Stanley Cup title. My expectations for the Nuggets, I know OKC is lurking there. I know Wemby has the Spurs off to a 5-0 start. But, man, I'm sorry, Dante. Call me the homer. Call me the guy following the team in Denver. I think top to bottom, the Nuggets, if they don't, I guess I can't go quite as far as saying if they don't make the NBA Finals, it's a disappointment because of the Thunder especially. And this is a team that's going to be there all year long, again, if health is not a factor to the negative. Yeah, I love the way they've come out and started. I love it.
I have too. I think they have a refreshed roster in terms of what's coming off the bench, and including Cam Johnson in the starting rotation as well there. So to me, I think it would be a disappointment of a season if they lose to anybody in the playoffs that's not named the Thunder. That's kind of how I look at it, and I think that's similar to what you were saying there. And obviously you want it to be finals or bust, but the Eastern Conference doesn't really scare me too much. In the Western Conference, there are some other teams, but I think the Nuggets are better than that. I think the Nuggets are better than the Rockets. I think they're better than the Spurs at this point of the Spurs team. Wemby, just in year 3 or 4, I want to say here. So I think it's the time for the Nuggets. They are primed. They're in Jokic's prime. Everybody around Jokic is in their peak form right now. Jamal Murray came into training camp and into the season in shape. I think that helps a lot. But Cam Johnson, smack dab in the middle of his prime. Aaron Gordon, probably on the back half of his prime here, but that's why it's important to strike now when this team is built the way they are.
Yeah, and I think Johnson will be fine over time. He's got the shoulder deal going on, maybe off to a little bit of certainly a slower start than he's used to offensively. I will say this. There was so much made of the Nuggets veterans that they acquired in the offseason, and I was right there with everybody else. Great to see big Jonas in the middle. Great to see Bruce back. Great to see Johnson in here.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr., the other one from the outside. And yet they got a fifth guy. They got the old Jamal back, it looks like. And Dante, I'm serious. You get the old Jamal back for the entire season, that's adding another elite player because he wasn't at that level last year. We all know that. He knows that, and he looks like a completely different player. That's another addition to this roster that they didn't have last year.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And then on top of that, all the other guys you mentioned, I think that just takes the weight off of Jamal's shoulders, come playoff time. I think you have to respect Cam Johnson as a scorer. You have to respect Bruce Brown as a two-way player. You have to respect Valanciunas as, a backup big here. Those are not just free minutes for the other team to go ahead and, chip away at the lead the Nuggets built with Jokic out there. So I think everybody around it is going to help Jamal too and not wear him down throughout the regular season and the playoffs as much.
RamosLaw.com text line from the 6716. I've seen several very small kids trick-or-treating tonight with Broncos jerseys. I tell the number 10s to take 3 treats. They wore the right number. Let's go, Bo jerseys. Come on now. Hey, Dante, if you could have 3 treats from your texter, which ones are you picking? We'll discuss that and clean up a couple of other things. Buffs, World Series, as we wrap up Denver Sports tonight.
The Fan Flyaway is back, presented by 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. To kick off 2026, Denver Sports 1043 The Fan is sending you to Phoenix for the biggest party in golf. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. Head to thefanflyaway.com to register. That's thefanflyaway.com. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan.
Wow, Leslie, your fireplace really sucks.
I beg your pardon?
Well, what I mean is your fireplace is literally sucking all the air out of your house and right up the chimney every time you burn it.
Well, what can I do about it?
Well, you could get a high-efficiency gas insert from Cozy Heat. It keeps all the air you already paid the utility company to heat, and it returns up to 80% of the fire's heat back into your house.
I'd use my fireplace every chance I get if I could do that. Maybe my furnace wouldn't need to run so much.
Well, that's the whole point. Hi, this is Keith Lair with Lair Fireplace and Patio, along with my niece Leslie, to tell you how a gas insert from Cozy Heat will give you the incentive to use your fireplace again. Cozy Heat gas fireplaces and inserts are made to crank out the heat with beauty and style.
Lair's is Denver's oldest, most trusted name in fireplaces. Family owned and operated since 1954.
We'll even give you a free in-home quote, including expert installation by our own certified in-house installers.
Find us on the web at lairfireplacepatio.com.
For top quality Cozy Heat fireplaces and inserts, it's Lair Fireplace and Patio, Denver's fireplace experts.
They say there's no such thing as a free lunch, but not true, I say. Hey everybody, Dan Jacobs with Jacobs Law and 303 Law 4040, and I'm here to tell you about the best, absolute best free meal in all of Denver. Times are tight right now. You go to the grocery store, things are insane. So we all could use a little bit of help. No questions asked. Anybody that needs it can come by every first and third Thursday. Here's how it works. You pull up, you pop your trunk, they put free groceries for the week in your trunk, and they say, how many hot meals do you need? We pass those to you right through your window, and this is good stuff. This is not soup kitchen stuff. I smoke these meats personally. Delicious pulled pork. I got my special secret Chipotle chicken recipe. It is fantastic. Please help us spread the word. Anybody that needs it, Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me personally. It's Dan Jacobs at 303 Law 4040.
A diamond is the oldest natural substance you will ever hold in your hand, created over 40 million years ago.
There are very few items of true value in the world that fit in the palm of your hand that also express our most powerful emotions.
And that's why a natural diamond from Williams Jewelers is the natural expression of your love. I'm Michelle Williams.
And I'm Bruce Williams. It's one of the most important purchases you will ever make.
And you're counting on us to help you get it right. So come get hands-on with Denver's most beautiful natural loose diamonds.
At Williams Jewelers, I still personally hand-select every natural diamond we sell, from the finest diamond cutters in the world, direct to you, all at the guaranteed best price in the state.
Say, will you with Williams?
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue between Fillmore and Detroit, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Mike Evans here. Copperhead Plumbing will make sure your plumbing is ready for winter. From drain cleaning, garbage disposals, leaks, water heaters, toilet repairs, and 24/7 emergency plumbing. Cold weather can mean frozen pipes, water heater issues, and small leaks that turn into big problems. So get fast, reliable service before winter hits. Visit CopperheadPlumbingInc.com today.
Copperhead Plumbing, built to last. Call us once, you'll forget the past.
Plumbing, keeping your home flowing all winter long.
Heads up, pros. Now's your chance to unlock deeper savings. The Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred pricing can help you save thousands on the products your business uses the most. But the current benefit ends November 15th. Don't miss out. Registration for the new program is free and easy. Just bring your tax ID or business or contractor's license to the Pro Desk. Register now to lock in the best wholesale prices before it's too late.
Tune into Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike and Dante on a Bud Light Football Friday, shooting the breeze. RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043 from the 9198. Our guy Brian from up in Evans. The Nuggets bench is everything Coach Malone wanted, but the GM refused to give him. We won't name him. The previous GM cost his team a championship over the past 2 years. Spot on. I mean, look, did Michael Malone's presence and voice and all that kind of run its course for the Nuggets? I think you could make that case, but at the same time, Dante, they didn't give him the pieces that David Adelman has right now, and I love which we don't need to relitigate it, but the question I ask because of that is where was Josh Kroenke and all of that? But that's a whole different topic that Josh has already sort of done his mea culpa for. But Brian's absolutely right. It's so good to see these veterans come in and make a difference right away. And, you know, Jokic gets the triple-double in 28 minutes the other night in the blowout of the Pelicans. So good to see. And, man, sky's the limit for the Nuggets. Sky's the limit for the Avs. All right. When it comes to the Buffs, they are playing Arizona tomorrow. Do the Buffs keep those faint bowl hopes alive, Dante? This is a Buffs team in a spot and a half right now, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, it comes down to what version of the Buffs are we going to get? Are we going to get the version that upset Iowa State at home? Or are we going to get the version that got blown out at Houston, the version that got blown out at Utah? I think we see a better version of them. I think it's a really close game. I'm going to go Buffs win it by 3 or less points.
I think the Buffs find a way to get it done, too. And I'd like to see Caden Salter sort of get back to what he can do, and I think being at home will allow him that. I still really don't think much of the Buffs' chances down the stretch. I know they're going to be at winless West Virginia. I think a bowl game would be, at this point, a tremendous achievement. At West Virginia, home against Arizona State, at Kansas State to wrap up the season. I mean, when you look at the Big 12 standings, there aren't too many teams below the Buffs. West Virginia and Oklahoma State at 0-5 in the Big 12. It's been a slog.
Yeah, I think West Virginia is a very winnable game on the road, too, because this Buffs team, make no mistake, they're not great, and it's really hard to win road games in college football, but I think that's a scenario where they can go out to West Virginia, Morgantown, and win that game. So I don't know if they end up being bowl. I would be surprised if they end up being bowl eligible by the end of the year, but they got winnable games here. And even the Arizona State game, I'm an Arizona State alum here. We just lost our quarterback
I was
for this
gonna
season.
say, yeah.
So that, turns that a little bit in terms of probably would have been closer to a 10-point spread, probably closer to like 4, 5, 6 points now. So I think that could even be a winnable game in Boulder for that team. So hopefully they can get back on track. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see some excitement rolling into next season.
Yeah, I would too. Hey, on the RamosLaw.com text line from the 9317, thoughts on Paxton Lynch coming back to play arena football for the Colorado team? Look, I wouldn't expect much. Am I interested to see if I was going to say if he has anything left. I don't know that he had a lot to begin with. Certainly what he did have, he really didn't use very well and maximize. Hey, if he can play for the love of the game and show he can play a little bit, good for Paxton Lynch. I'm not really going to make that the first thing I search out though to see how he does.
Yeah, I'll just go. I'll just go with good for him. I don't want to say anything mean.
It is Halloween, whatever that means. The World Series, Game 6, being played in Toronto. LA with 1-0 lead in the third. Dante, this has been just such a great series. So many cool storylines. Maybe the biggest of which for me is the fact that the Blue Jays pitching has held the Dodgers down. Going into tonight, 4 runs in the last 29 innings or so. Dodgers do get an early tally here tonight, but man, this Toronto team is so understated, and yet they're so good. They're just so solid in so many facets of the game.
Yeah, I don't love the narrative that they're this huge underdog. I get it. They're not the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have kind of turned into what the Yankees used to be.
But doesn't that make them the underdog?
I mean, it does, but they won more games in the regular season than the Dodgers did. There's a reason they're hosting games, 1, 2, 6, and 7 at home in Toronto there. And Toronto's been, rumored to be in on a lot of these big-name free agents. So they have money as well up in Toronto. It's not like there's some scrappy, Pittsburgh Pirates or some scrappy, Miami Marlins team. So they're still very good, and I get that. But I'm with you. The biggest storylines for me have just been, one, how bad Mookie Betts has been. Mookie Betts, my goodness. Big chance here. I don't know if I'm behind on the TV or not, but big chance here for Mookie to redeem himself a little bit for how poor of a series he's had. But he's got to get it going. I like the changes that the Dodgers made in their lineup, moving Betts down to 4.
Yep.
I think that's going to help a lot. It already did help. That's why they have a run here. Will Smith, big hit there with guys on base. So I'm hoping for a Game 7 tomorrow. What about you?
You always hope for a Game 7. And then I wouldn't mind seeing Toronto win it. Although for a guy who grew up hating the Dodgers, this is, we've talked about this, as likable of a Dodgers team that I can ever remember personally. I know some people will never like the Dodgers. I'm close to that, but these guys are like halfway likable. As are you, Dante.
Only halfway?
No, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, my goodness. No, you're extremely likable. Have a great weekend. Look forward to talking to you Monday.
You too, Mike.
All right, that's Dante Gomez, Mike Rice. Thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy Halloween. Enjoy the Broncos game. Dante and I are back on Monday night on Denver Sports tonight on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
After a breakout performance against Dallas, will R.J. Harvey run wild against the Texans? Will Dre Greenlaw provide a spark on defense? We'll react to it all in the Fan Football Postgame Show. Live on game day starting at the 2-minute warning. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040. With just a friendly tip here, I like to remind people that they never want to be gambling that the person that hits them has good insurance. So I want you to take a look at your insurance policies. Check and make sure that you have 2 things. One's called MedPay coverage. You want to make sure you have that. And then also UM/UIM coverage. This will protect you in case you get into an accident and the person that hits you doesn't have good insurance. If you have any questions, just give me a call. 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if you can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and you can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-944-33, 720-944-33. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. You want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens, the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
I'm Corey Rose, anchor at 9 News and proud mama who enjoys taking my kids mountain biking at Winter Park. I love preparing you for the day ahead with the latest headlines. Whether it's tackling safety in our kids' schools or covering breaking news, from Aurora to Lakewood and everywhere in between, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to 9 News Mornings. Weekday mornings live starting at 4:30 anywhere you watch.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. And the other day I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch football, but his